Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you. Hopefully everybody is having a good time on the holiday. If you guys can hear me okay and everything is looking good, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me or things are looking weird, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody in the building. All right. Shout out to Miss Nisi. What's good with it, Miss Nisi? Good to see you as always. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen enforcing them likes early. Make sure that y'all throw them like enforcers in the chat for Brooklyn Queen enforcing the likes. Definitely appreciate it. We got Black Spider in the building. Shout out to Black Spider. We got Tedra. Make sure y'all throw some flames and some radiation emoji in the chat for Tedra. Discord gang, the first story that we talk about is a story that Tedra put in the Discord. All right, so shout out to Tedra. And shout out to my man DeAndre. What's good with it, bro? For enforcing the likes. Make sure y'all bang on that like button. Make sure y'all enforce them likes. Throw them like enforcers in the chat. And share the stream to your social media. All right. Shout out to Robin and Battle. And shout out to my man DC Precise. What's good with it? What is good with it? So this is the story that Tedra put in there. This is an international story. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about some international stuff today. So I want y'all to listen to this, and we're going to play that game called What's Wrong with This Picture? Okay. Dutch volleyball player Steven van de Velde on Paris Olympics team gets 8 years after child rape conviction. All right. So this dude, had a child rape conviction and he got 8 years. All right. That was his sentence. All right. A Dutch beach volleyball player convicted and imprisoned 8 years ago for graping an underage girl in Britain has qualified for Paris Olympics. Now, here goes my question. Has anybody been able to identify what the issue is here? If you all have identified what the issue is, give me a thumbs up. If you guys have not identified what the issue is, maybe people in the comment section will be kind enough to help you out there. Maybe people in the comment section will be kind enough to help you out there. Has everybody identified the issue? What's the issue with this? How many people think that he should have been allowed to be a part of the Olympics? If you guys think that was okay and normal, that he should have been a part of the Olympics, let me know. If you guys think, maybe he really shouldn't have been allowed to be a part of that all like that, also let me know. All right. Steven van de Velde and partner Matthew Immers were one of two men's teams from the Netherlands that qualified for the beach volleyball competition at the Paris Games, which opened on July 26th at the French capital. Okay. Most beach pairs qualify for the 24 Olympic field by earning points on the international tour. Van de Velde and Immers were 11th on the points list. I understand in the run-up for the biggest sporting event in the world, this can attract attention of international media. Van de Velde said in a statement posted on the website of the Netherlands Volleyball Federation. I cannot reverse it, so I will have to bear the consequences. It has been the biggest mistake of my life. Okay. It doesn't seem like the consequences matched the magnitude of this quote-unquote mistake. And honestly, I don't even know if we can even call this a quote-unquote mistake. Shout out to my man Gone for Milk. What's good with it? Shout out to Mike J. What's good with you? How many people, if you guys would call this a mistake, give me a thumbs up. If you would not call this a mistake and you would say, this is what privilege looks like, then give me an angry face in the chat. All right. Van de Velde was sentenced to 4 years in prison in Britain after being convicted in 2016 of graping a 12-year-old girl he got to know on Facebook, according to CBS News partner network BBC News. All right, so now he's dealing with a woman, dealing with a girl, actually, not even a woman, that's only 12 years old. It says in 2016 he graped her, more than likely statutory. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I find fascinating about this particular situation is that they did not use the term groom. They did not use the term groom. Now, why do you think that they did not use the term groom? Yeah, and I got to agree with Gone for Milk. If you guys agree with Gone for Milk, that's the system working exactly the way that it should, then give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree and think that something else was at play here, by all means, let me know in the comment section. All right. He was transferred back to the Netherlands under a treaty between the countries and allowed to serve his sentence there, but he was released after 12 months. All right. So this guy, I mean, I don't really know if I would even say that he dealt with a consequence at all. I don't know if I would call any of this a consequence. I don't know if I would call any of this a consequence. This all looks like pseudo consequences. It all looks like posturing, and it just looks like he kind of got passed around in his, you know, it is what it is. Just to say that we did something on paper and then move on to the next situation. You know what I'm saying? The BBC said after communicating with the girl online, Van de Velde traveled from Amsterdam to England to meet her in 2014. He was convicted of 3 counts of graping a minor 2 years later and was placed on a permanent sex offenders registry in the UK. All right. After his release, Van de Velde sought and received professional counseling. He has demonstrated to those around him, privately and professionally, self-insight and reflection, the Federation said. Now, here's my question. How do you verify that? How do you know if that's the case? What kind of measures, what kind of provable measures do they have that can say, yeah, we know for a fact that this individual has been rehabilitated? How do we know that? How can we say with 100% certainty that this individual here has been rehabilitated? I don't really know if we can do that or not. I don't really know if we can do that or not. You know what I'm saying? It added that both the Federation and the Netherlands Olympic Committee rely on the opinions of experts who consider the chance of recidivism nil. The Dutch Olympic Committee said Van de Velde, who is now 29, met the conditions required to return after a conviction and resumed his career of 2017 after an intensive, professionally supervised process. Now, the thing that's interesting about this is that they're saying that this was so intense, but it doesn't even seem like he served his entire sentence. How many people would say that he kind of got some Epstein opportunity here? If you would say that this individual got some Epstein opportunity, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys wouldn't say that he got some Epstein opportunity, then give me a thumbs down. Yeah, shout out to DC Precise. Shout out to DC Precise. I'm square and I say so. You know what I'm saying? He was living that, oh, I'm square and I say so life. You know what I mean? Van de Velde now meets all of the qualification requirements for the Olympic Games and is therefore part of the team, the committee said. Now, I'm curious, how do you, because the Olympics are going to have a huge audience there. And I'm sure part of that audience are going to be minors, right? How does one be a part of an Olympic team roster as well as alert the people in the audience that he is on a permanent offender list? He's a 69 god. You know what I'm saying? This freaky boy right here is a 69 god. You know what I'm saying? The International Volleyball Federation says it recognizes that this is a highly sensitive matter, but said that team selection is the responsibility of the National Olympic Committee while respecting the eligibility criteria. So I want you guys to understand this. Will Smith slapped the dog crap out of Chris Rock. How many people remember that? If you guys remember that, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't remember that, give me a thumbs down. As a result of Will Smith slapping the dog crap out of Chris Rock, where anytime Will Smith is spoken of, that is the only thing that should ever be spoken of about him, and none of his future career endeavors should ever be supported because of that particular incident. This dude got convicted of 3 child rape charges. The Olympics made a way for him to be a part of the Olympics, and Stephen A. Forehead said nothing about it. He said nothing about it. He said nothing about it. Now, let me ask you guys a question. For that kind of behavior, what do you think should happen to that long nose on that weird-looking, asymmetrical face of Stephen A. Smith? That's my question. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And shout out to Miss Nisi for joining the membership. Make sure you guys show Miss Nisi some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Miss Nisi for standing on business.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Right. Shout out to Gone for Milk. Broken. If you guys agree with Gone for Milk, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If y'all disagree with Gone for Milk, give me a thumbs down. And if you guys have not smashed that like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. All right. So I'm not sure if people are familiar with the events and the moves that have been being made on an international stage, but we got the Eastern Bloc forming together like Voltron. And my question for you guys is, why do you guys think that the Eastern Bloc is forming together like Voltron? Why do you guys think that? Look at what's going on right here. Putin and Kim sign a pact alleging mutual support against aggression. Now, who would be aggressing over that way? Who would be aggressing over that way? It wouldn't be nobody aggressing in that direction over there now. Who would be aggressing over there? We're gonna make that print real big so y'all can see it. What y'all think about that? Hold on, we can put it back down a little bit. Yeah, there you go. How many people, if you guys can see that, okay, let me know. Now, what's the purpose behind this strategic move? Putin and then I want to ask you guys this question. Once we read this, I'm going to ask you guys, how do you all feel about this? Is this an example of a coalition? Is this what a coalition should look like? Is this what a coalition should work like? Okay. Putin and Kim sign a pact pledging mutual support against aggression. Now, let me ask you guys this question. When it comes to dealing with us in situations that we've dealt with here in the United States, how many people have ever pledged mutual support when dealing with WS aggression? Is there anybody that can name anybody or any contract anywhere where any group of people here in the United States have signed on a dotted line, we pledge our undying support to your causes in the event of unfettered WS aggression? Is there any group of people that has ever done that? Shout out to my man Wallow J. What's good with it, bro? Is there anybody that's ever done that? That's what we need to know. A need for munitions to use against Ukraine is pushing Russia's leader to deepen his ties with North Korea, raising alarms in the West. The text of the agreement was not immediately released. Now, do you guys remember, I want to say maybe earlier in the year when there was this emergent message that came out and it was some type of issue with Russia and Jim Jordan was all scared and they leaked all this information, and then come to find out it was a quote-unquote nothing burger. If you guys do not remember that, I will link the video for that in here. It'll be in a card that pops up. Okay, do you guys remember that particular situation? If you guys remember that situation, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't remember that situation, then give me a thumbs down. Okay, that's my question. President Vladimir V. Putin of Russia and North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un revived a Cold War era defense pledge between their nations on Wednesday, as the Kremlin deepened its security relationship with North Korea and vowed solidarity in challenging the United States. All right. So let me ask you guys this question. Let's just look at the future and look at the possibilities of two different presidential outcomes. Let's say Joe Biden remains the president. How do you all think that Joe Biden would deal with this? Now, let's say Trump becomes the president. How do you all think Trump would deal with this? Let me know what you guys think, and who would be the most effective in dealing with this particular situation, or if you even think that this situation is an issue at all, because some people might not think that this is an issue. You know, that's always a thing. Anytime we deal with anything, if it's not right in somebody's house or right in their front yard, it's not an issue. So, you know, whatever you think. You know what I'm saying? Uh-oh, shout out to my man Gone for Milk. We got a call for the TCU out. We got a call for the TCU out. TCU, we need a cleanup on aisle 3, please. TCU, we need a cleanup on aisle 3. So now here it says neither Russia nor North Korea immediately released the text of the new treaty, but Mr. Putin, speaking at a joint briefing in, I don't know how to say that, Pyongyang, hopefully I'm saying that right, after the two leaders signed the document, said that the pact called for the nations to aid one another in the event of aggression against the country. Mr. Kim claimed the new treaty elevated the two countries' relations to an alliance. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Again, as you guys can see, there's a signed document involved in this, right? Let me ask you all this. Throughout history in the United States, all of these groups of people that claim to be friendly with Black Americans, how many signed documents have they actually signed committing support to our causes and support in the event of aggression? Shout out to my man AB Promotions. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to TCU Skull Thumper. That's what's good. What's good with it? We got the TCU in the building. We got the TCU in the building. Make sure y'all show some love to the TCU. Also, if you guys haven't smashed that like button yet, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, take a moment and hit that bell. So if we've never had any, here's my question for everybody. If we've never had any signed agreement on paper or anything pledging support with a actual agreement, can we call those situations of the past coalitions? Can we actually call those coalitions? That's my question. What do you guys think? Is that a fair thing to say or no? Let me know. Mr. Putin did not say whether the new agreement would require immediate and full-fledged interventions in the event of an attack, as the now defunct 1961 treaty between Moscow and Pyongyang specified during the days of the Cold War. The pledge of mutual assistance is likely to further alarm Washington and its allies. Now, why do you guys think that is? And see, again, people got to pay very close attention, right? Anytime there's any type of alliance or anytime anybody's going to quote unquote benefit from anything that we have to do, before we allow entry to have access to those benefits, there should always be a hardcore pledge of mutual assistance, right? And there should be consequences that come if that mutual assistance is failed to be granted in specified situations that require it. Would you all agree? Shout out to Hurricane IQ for 10 months of membership. Make sure y'all show Hurricane IQ some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Hurricane IQ standing on business for 10 months.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to you, bro. Definitely appreciate it. Now, what do you guys think? Because see, here's the thing, right? A lot of times when we look at these particular situations, the way that business is done in a completely and opposite way of what we see being done in practice. And then in many times, and a lot of times people are upset with what goes on in practice. But then when you go back and look at the actual elements of what was being done, a lot of times there's a lot of important things missing. There's a lot of important things missing. And then you got to go back and ask yourself the question, well, instead of gaslighting everybody into a bunch of fake outrage, why are we not looking at these things and asking, well, why did we have these elements of our business missing? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man AB Promotions for standing on business for 9 months. Make sure y'all show him some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for my man AB Promotions standing on business for 9 months.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to you, bro. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Brooklyn Queen also for standing on business for 10 months. Make sure y'all show her some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Brooklyn Queen standing on business for 10 months.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to y'all, man. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to the green team, man. Y'all out here killing it. Y'all out here killing it. It could be a presage, not only deeper support by North Korea for Russia's war in Ukraine, but also for greater support from Moscow in aiding Mr. Kim's quest for better functioning nuclear weapons, missiles, submarines, and satellites, a development that would increase anxiety among America's Asian allies, especially South Korea. All right. So now let me ask you guys this question. If North Korea starts really building a formidable military presence as a result of this new agreement between North Korea and Russia, what actions do you all think that America would take? What actions do you all think America would take? And shout out to my man AB Promotions, the 6th stream sponsor. Definitely appreciate it, bro. My man AB Promotions says BLR's army, better yet a navy. If you try to play hey me, it ain't gravy.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Green, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Definitely appreciate it, bro. Yeah, DeAndre said this could be the catalyst that could start a World War III like situation. Yeah, absolutely. If you guys agree with DeAndre, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with DeAndre, then give me a thumbs down. Yeah, I agree 110%. All right. Both leaders heralded the agreement as the beginning of a new era in their relationship. Mr. Putin, speaking on his first trip to North Korea in nearly a quarter century, cast possible Russian military support for Pyongyang as a local response to the West's supplying weapons to Ukraine, which he claimed violated various international obligations. Okay. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this, right? The United States is providing weapons to Ukraine. Now, why is it looked at as an adversarial move for those countries over there to do business with each other? See, all of those countries should just be isolated and there should be no strengthening ties. But when it comes to the United States should be the glue that holds its favored parts of the world together. Does that seem logical or fair, or should that logic be tested? Shout out to Vince and shout out to Deneen. What's good with y'all? Does that seem fair, or should that logic be tested? What do you guys think? And see, these are important things to pay very close attention to, because even though these are not things that may directly affect us, these are talking points that people will try to use to manipulate your political views, your worldviews, and your political leanings. So it's extremely important that people have a very thorough and competent understanding of this stuff so that they are able to combat manipulation. Okay? People need to be able to effectively combat manipulation. Shout out to my man Terrence Jackson. What's good with it, bro? Russia does not exclude the development of military technical cooperation with North Korea, he said, threatening to support the ambitions of a military that the United Nations, backed by Russia, has been trying to defang for years. Okay. Any transfer of arms or military technology to or from North Korea is prohibited by UN sanctions that Russia blessed. Mr. Putin, however, said on Wednesday that it was time to review those sanctions, calling the very practice of sanctions strangulation and a tool of Western hegemony. How many people would agree with that? If you guys would agree with that statement, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with that statement, then give me a thumbs down. Now, my question is, if we are people that allegedly believe in self-defense, why do we not believe in North Korea's right to be able to sovereignly defend itself? That would be my question for you guys. Is there a such thing as whoever the United States deems to be able to defend itself should be the people that are able to defend themselves or have the right to defend themselves, and everybody else is just at the behest of what the United States says? What reality are we living in? And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all have not smashed that like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell and subscribe to the channel, please take a moment, hit that bell, subscribe to the channel, and also please share the stream to your social media. All right. Pyongyang has the right to take reasonable measures to strengthen its own defense capability, ensure national security, and protect sovereignty, the Russian leader added. Now, shout out, to them for saying that, right? I feel that we have that exact same right to do those exact same things for ourselves in the United States and worldwide. We have the right and not just the right. We don't only have the right, we have the right and the obligation to do the exact same thing for ourselves in the United States and worldwide, as well as lay the foundation for future generations to be able to do the exact same thing for themselves. Shout out to Carla. What's good with it, Carla? If you guys agree with that logic, throw some flames in the chat. If you guys disagree with that logic, put some angry faces in the chat and let me know what's on your mind. All right. His remarks appear to come dangerously close to helping Mr. Kim obtain what he has long coveted, and the West has vehemently opposed: acceptance of North Korea as a nuclear weapons state. Now, again, we got to ask ourselves the question and go back into history and ask, why is it that North Korea is not allowed to have a nuclear weapon? Let me ask you guys this. Why is the United States allowed to have a nuclear weapon? Why is the United States allowed to have a nuclear weapon? Aren't we a country that has used nuclear weapons, atomic weapons on other countries? Haven't we done that before? I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I think that we might be the only country in the entire world to have ever done an act of war like that. So my question is, out of every other country that exists on the planet, why is it that the United States is allowed to have nuclear weapons? Why is it that the United States is allowed to have nuclear weapons? You know what I'm saying? Indeed, the pact announced Wednesday marked a dramatic change in tone for Mr. Putin since the days before his full-fledged standoff with the West, when he called Pyongyang's nuclear ambitions unacceptable and cooperated in the international efforts to stop North Korea from developing nuclear and missile technology. I don't think he'll ever sign up to that again, said Michael A. McFaul, a former U.S. ambassador to Russia and the director of Stanford University's Freeman Spogli Institute for International Studies, referring to Mr. Putin. I think he's decided we're the enemy, the liberal international order that the United States anchors over, and he wants to see its destruction. Now, let me ask you guys this. I wouldn't necessarily say that Vladimir Putin wants to see the quote unquote destruction. I think that Vladimir Putin wants to see Russia empowered. This is the same type of argument that people use when people. This is the same type of argument that people use against us. This is the same type of logic as reparations is a plan to destroy the United States. No, it's not. It's a plan to right a wrong and to provide an even standing for a built-in disadvantage that was created that harmed an entire population of people here. But we see what you're doing, and we can play the word games too. A lot of times when people run false narratives, they'll go as far to the extreme as possible. Russia's got a lot of nuclear weapons. They got a lot of advanced hypersonic missiles. They have a lot of military technology, and they have a manufacturing experience curve of being able to build military equipment very quickly and very cheap. If they wanted the United States destroyed, they might not be able to destroy the United States in the snap of a finger, but they could definitely try. They could definitely try. In order to justify aggression against somebody that you have a problem with, you play the victim in many cases. So the United States can say that Russia has this target on their back as much as they want, right? But that might not be Russia's intention at all. Russia might just want to be able to be strong enough where it can exert its sovereignty and defend itself from those who may look to impede on its sovereignty. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. That doesn't necessarily mean destruction. This is the same argument that white people use. They just want to control us. No, we just want to control us. And controlling us means being able to deal with you if you push the boundaries too much. That's what that means. Now, you want to be playing a victim and run around with your head spinning and talking crazy on Twitter, but this is what we're talking about right here. We're talking about when you cross the line, we're able to definitively push you very far back over the line and lay down spikes so you think twice about walking back over it. That doesn't necessarily mean your destruction. That means stay on your side of the fence respectfully. But you can't respect disrespectful people, which is one of the problems of strategies that people have been using. You can't fight clean with dirty people. You can't fight clean with dirty people. All of these people that brag about inactions and, you know, taking a moral high ground, that's not a win. The only win is an actual win. If you lost and you look at this, how many times have you seen a football game or a basketball game where the teams followed all of the rules? Do those play when they lose the game? Do they ever say to the interviewers after the game, well, we followed all the rules? No, nobody says that because it doesn't matter. It's not a flex. The only flex is if you win. That's the only flex. Imagine a boxer getting knocked out, and after he wakes up and does his post-fight press conference, he says, well, I followed all the rules and I didn't get disqualified. Yeah, but you got knocked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares that you followed all the rules? Of course you followed all the rules. You didn't take performance-enhancing drugs. You know what I'm saying? You didn't use brass knuckles or anything like that. Of course you followed all the rules. You followed all the rules and you lost. You know what I'm saying? How many people agree? If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. So all of this talk of we set the moral tone for the world, setting moral tones and playing by rules. If you play by rules, if you have to follow rules, that already means that there's some force stronger than you that's enforcing rules, which is you automatically lost if you're playing by somebody's rules. because that means that there's an enforcement mechanism out there greater than you that will make you conform to the confines of the rules. Well, I'm going to play with the rules. I'm not going to play with the rules. You thought you were coming to a fair fight. Psych, I drove the van here and now you're getting jumped. Why? Because I want to win. Yeah, but you didn't but you didn't fight like a man. Well, try saying that from your funeral. You know what I'm saying? Try saying that from the ICU while hooked up to a ventilator. You know what I'm saying? I won. That's the type of mentality that people should start training themselves for. Think about this. All of the indoctrination, all of the institutions, everything that we do, all things are trained to make you work within a confine. You park in between these lines. As a kid, you color in between these lines. When you learn how to write, they put the lines in the writing so that you write, you know what I'm saying, within a 3-inch space or a 1-inch space. You know what I'm saying? With the dotted line in the middle. You drive between the lines on the street. You go into a line when you're waiting for something. You learn religion, 10 commandments. There's nothing that helps you to develop your own framework for success. You got to follow these steps. You got to follow this recipe that somebody else wrote. That recipe that somebody else wrote might not be the recipe for you. And let me ask you guys this question. If you're in a situation where the entire idea of how the world works is based on you being a doormat for everybody that comes through, do you think that there will be any rule that's ever made that's encouraged to you to help you to not facilitate and empower that very system? Think about that. There's going to always be a rule that has the effect of causing a slow bleed on you. That's the whole point. People say that, oh, well, we're the moral compass and all this. That's false glory. That's false glory. And that's lack of ability to be accountable for past backwards hustling that I advise people against. Anybody that says, well, we're the moral, you know, everybody should take an example from us. Honestly, they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. You take an example from the winners. Who's the judge of what's good versus what's bad? These are all subjective things. Everything we'll look at a group of people and say they do a lot of gross, disgusting, amoral stuff. Right? But then at the same time, we'll sit around and talk about how not natural something is. And then if you look at a natural animal cleaning itself, it's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? How many people have ever just sat there and you saw a cat right there and the cat was sitting there staring at you, and then the cat just decided to get comfortable and start licking its own ass? Anybody ever seen that happen? That literally happens all the time. Oh my God, that's so disgusting. Well, everybody always talks about natural and nature. That's natural. That's nature. Who set the standard for what's natural, for what's disgusting and what's gross, or what's amoral versus what's not? It's a framework to stop you from being formidable competition. Shout out to my man Aristopat. What's good with it, bro? Everybody always talks about natural. Well, they don't do things natural. Okay. Really? Let's explore nature. Let's explore nature. I've never seen a cat or a dog use a bar of soap. Matter of fact, I've never seen them clean themselves with a washcloth. I've only seen themselves clean themselves with a tongue, which is disgusting by our standards. But who created our standards? Do you guys see the issue with the double negatives that people use? Appreciate you, bro. You guys see the double negatives that we use a lot of times? We can't live in two realities. We can't live in two realities. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the prospect of Moscow possibly sharing its deep knowledge of satellites, missiles, and space with North Korea underscored how Mr. Putin, in his 24 years in power, has evolved from a supportive, if difficult, interlocutor for the West to its chief global antagonist. So basically what this means is, Vladimir Putin is not in the business of being dictated to by the United States, and he's starting to move with a little bit more autonomy, and the United States don't really appreciate that. The United States doesn't really appreciate that. What now? Let me ask you guys this. Why do you all feel that the United States doesn't really appreciate that? Why doesn't the United States appreciate that? North Korea has dozens of nuclear warheads, but has had technical problems perfecting the missiles that can carry them. The new agreement was one of the most visible rewards Mr. Kim has exchanged with Moscow in return for the dozens of ballistic missiles and over 11,000 shipping containers of munitions that Washington has said North Korea has provided in recent months to meet Putin's urgent needs on the battlefield in Ukraine. Now, again, I want to ask you guys this logical question, and this is a question that we should be able to ask. If the United States is able to aid Ukraine in their fight against Russia, why is it that Russia should not be allowed to draw from its allies for its battle in Ukraine? That's my question, a logical question of exercise. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed that like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. Shout out to DeAndre for being a like enforcer. If people could show DeAndre some love and throw some like enforcers in the chat, I would definitely appreciate it. Yeah, shout out to Deneen. It seems fair to me. Yeah. If you guys agree with Deneen, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree with Deneen, give me a thumbs down. I agree 100%. But again, a lot of this is based on propaganda and who's telling the story, which is very important, which is one of the reasons why it's extremely important for us to make sure that we always have our own point of view recorded and documented and able to be passed down with as much tangible evidence as possible and safeguarded. It's extremely important. You know what I'm saying? The Kim-Putin agreement is an unprecedented case of a United Nations Security Council permanent member with nuclear weapons not only accepting, but also pledging to defend a regime that blatantly violates security resolutions and international non-proliferation norms, said Leif Erik Easley, a professor of international studies at Ewha Women's University in Seoul. Okay. But Mr. Easley doubted that the agreement would make Russia and North Korea formal military allies, as Mr. Kim claimed, saying they lacked the shared institutions and interdependence that give other alliances credibility. American officials on Wednesday warned of the danger of closer ties between Pyongyang and Moscow. This should concern any country that cares about maintaining peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula, abiding by UN Security Council resolutions, and supporting the people of Ukraine as they defend their freedom and independence against Russia's brutal invasion, a National Security Council spokesperson said. Now, what do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about those statements there? How do you guys feel about those statements there? And shout out to Black Spider for being the 7th stream sponsor, 11-month membership. Make sure you guys show her some love. Please throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for her funding the organization and standing on business.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Shout out to Black Spider. Definitely appreciate that. And shout out to Carla for being a member for 27 months. Make sure you guys show her some love for sure for standing on business for 27 months. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Carla. Definitely appreciate it.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to you, Carla. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, shout out to Hurricane. You see what I'm talking about? This is what I'm talking about. You see, when my members do the milestone, you see how long my subscribers have been members? I'm just saying. You don't see that everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the events on Wednesday represented the farthest from the Kremlin, the farthest the Kremlin has gone in throwing its weight behind North Korea, a function of both battlefield necessity and the standoff with the United States that Mr. Putin has pursued around the world. Now, is that accurate right there? Is that an accurate depiction of what's going on internationally? Vladimir Putin pursuing a standoff against the United States internationally across the world. I don't know if that's an accurate way to depict what's really going on. I don't know if that's accurate or not. How do you guys feel about that? If you guys feel that that's accurate, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys feel that that's not accurate, then give me a thumbs down. As at the news briefing, Mr. Putin denounced the United States for expanding military infrastructure in the region and holding drills with South Korea and Japan. He rejected what he called attempts to blame the deteriorating security situation on North Korea, which has carried out 6 nuclear test explosions since 2006 and has tested intercontinental ballistic missiles that could reach the United States. Mr. Kim called the pact the most powerful treaty ever signed between North Korea and Russia and praised the outstanding foresight of Mr. Putin, the dearest friend of the Korean people. Now, I think that your boy Kim Jong-un is doing a little bit of laying it on thick right there. I think he's doing a little bit of trolling just to get under people's skin. You know what I'm saying? He definitely is exaggerating. You know what I'm saying? If you guys agree he's exaggerating, then give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree and y'all don't think that he's exaggerating, then give me a thumbs down. Mr. Putin's remarks recalled the 1961 Treaty of Friendship and Mutual Assistance between Pyongyang and Moscow, under which the two countries were obligated to immediately extend military and other assistance, which with all means at their disposal should one of them find itself at war. That treaty became defunct after the disintegration of the Soviet Union. All right. Now, do you all think that part of the United States chipping away at the Soviet Union back during that time of the Cold War was in an effort to decrease the power, the military power, and the political world influence of the Eastern Bloc? A strategic move. And see, now what has happened is that the Eastern Bloc is starting to build back up its political power and its influence. And I think that the United States for so long has not had to deal with any nations that have a ability to rival its power and influence. People are getting kind of scared. People are getting kind of scared. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jesse. What's good with it, bro? When Moscow and Pyongyang signed a friendship agreement in 2000, it lacked a clause on automatic military intervention, calling only for mutual contact if a security emergency were to arise. It did not stipulate military intervention or military aid. Mr. Putin is the first major head of state to visit North Korea since the pandemic, and Mr. Kim gave the Russian leader a red carpet welcome. His energy-starved government flooded downtown Pyongyang with bright lights as the two leaders were driven in the same car, the Russian-made Aurorus limousine that Mr. Putin gave Mr. Kim last year to the state guest house. All right. Despite sweltering heat, huge crowds were mobilized to a welcoming ceremony for Mr. Putin in the main square of the Pyongyang later Wednesday, complete with goose-stepping honor guards and colorful balloons released into the air. The crowd waved paper flowers and the national flags of the two nations as Mr. Putin arrived. All right. So let me ask you guys this question. Has the United States made any new military alliances that would strengthen our position in the world? Has the United States made any new military alliances that would give us more power, that would improve the safety and security of how we are living here in the United States? Let me know. And real quick, shout out to Lloyd Sky 9. Definitely appreciate you re-upping your membership, bro. Make sure y'all show Lloyd Sky 9 some love. He is the 9th stream sponsor. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Lloyd Sky 9 for standing on business.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
So let me ask this. If all of these other countries are mobilizing, right? All of these other countries are moving around and creating relationships, economic, BRICS, doing all of this different stuff. Why is the United States being stagnant? And why is that not an issue that people are asking, you know, of the president? Like, that should have been a topic in the debate. Like, we see Russia and we see China making a lot of geopolitical moves, making inroads with a lot of smaller countries. And we kind of see the United States international geopolitical relationships eroding. And I don't think that that's the best situation for people in the United States. What do you as presidents plan to do to improve the United States presence, you know, on a global stage? I think that that's a viable question that should have been asked at the debate. But it's not a question that was asked at the debate. But I think that that should be something that, you know, as an all lives matter issue, that every American should be concerned with. Don't you guys? Yeah, I got to agree with Deneen. If you guys agree with Deneen, if y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Deneen said they didn't cover any meaningful topics in that dumb debate. Yeah, I didn't think they covered anything of you know, outstanding importance. They covered some basic stuff, but they didn't really go into any deep issues, and they really didn't go into selling solutions either. They didn't go into selling solutions. You know what I'm saying? You got Biden, who was just mumbling, and then, you know, Trump got on his pro-black talking point. They're taking black jobs. You know what I'm saying? The black people, the black jobs are gone. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alonda. You know what I'm saying? So Trump got on his pro-black, you know what I'm saying? Got on his pro-black conservative kick. And despite the fact that he did bring up a factual point, there wasn't really any solutions tied to anything that either one of them brought up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to Miss Nisi. Miss Nisi said 45 lied coherently during that farce debate. Yeah, facts. Well, we one thing that we see, like, Joe Biden is incompetent, and we know that Trump is a competent manipulator and liar. So, like, again, like, that's just a bad situation. Literally, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like a wolf versus a sheep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, you know, it is what it is. Remember when people were questioning Joe Biden's cognitive abilities, it was missing disinformation. You guys remember that? like I said, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of the great forces on YouTube really intimidate me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna, I don't care if I say something and people take what I say and run with it. Because if you're that, you know, kind of person and you just want to manipulate somebody's words, it doesn't really matter anyway. I'm just gonna keep doing what I gotta do. I said that Trump would make Biden look bad in every single confrontation because Biden is not coherent. I've been saying that from day one, but that was deemed as misinformation. That was deemed as misogyny by some people. Some women felt that that was an attack on them. Now it's not misinformation somehow. And now Biden is even losing support inside the White House. But before, these things were forbade from being said. How do these things go from being forbade to being said to when you witness them in real time and they can no longer be denied? None of that old information is back checked, and people said, well, this information has been coming out for a long time. Somebody make that make sense. Somebody make it make sense. The fact that people, listen, I'm going to tell you guys something. The fact that most people in the United States, if they truly didn't believe that Joe Biden had signs of deteriorating cognition, that tells you as a nation about the deteriorating relationship between the elderly population and the youth. And what that also tells you is that most people do not spend a great deal of time with their grandparents. The United States just told on itself about its deteriorating family values by not being able to have common sense and witness the cognitive decline of an elderly person. You know what I'm saying? Calling it dis and misinformation. I guarantee you that if they did a I guarantee you, if they did a CT scan on Joe Biden's brain, his brain would probably have Lewy bodies all over it. But we never get to see any of these people's medical records. Yeah, facts. Shout out to Miss Niecy. Yeah. And you know, the problem with social media is that you're not able to say certain things because certain people will try to pick up on your talking points and manipulate it and say that you're spewing misinformation. So I wouldn't go as far as to say that he has declining dementia, but what I would say is that there's a notable change in cognition. I would say that because there is. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody will take that and say, you made a medical diagnosis and it was wrong. That's misinformation. No, it's not. But okay, whatever. But there's nobody that can say he has a noticeable change in cognition. There's nobody that can honestly say that that's not true. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody that can say that that's not true. He has a notable change in cognition. That's a very true statement. Very difficult to debunk. Very difficult to say is not true. We already have all of these people that are attacking these platforms and saying that everything that we say is mis and disinformation. You know what I'm saying? Despite the fact of you can have the data right there on the screen. So you have to be extremely thoughtful and extremely careful with how you phrase certain things or how you present certain information. And a lot of times people think that they don't have to do that. For whatever, I don't understand. Like, you have all of these people that sit there and preach about white supremacy all day, and then they forget that they're on a platform that they don't own, and then they're surprised when, like, you know what I'm saying, they get a video strike or they get demonetized or something. It's like you just spent your entire career talking about how, you know what I'm saying, like, the infrastructure is set up unfair because we don't own anything, and now you're confused about why what happened to you happened to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people that say that the world is correct, but don't really believe it. Like, they don't really adhere to the world is correct principles. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't sit there and say the world is correct and then question when something unfair happens to you. Like, what happened to you because you were a target for it to happen and you had no means to defend yourself. That's what's supposed to happen in a correct world. That's why people try to keep you in a weakened state so you can be an easy target. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out to Deneen. Again, Deneen said the shock about his condition lets you know that a lot of people only get their information from mainstream media. Right. Which also, again, even if you get your information from the mainstream media, are you not paying attention when you see the man for yourself? What happens when you watch him in a debate? What happens when you watch him attempt to stumble through a State of the Union address? You know what I mean? So you can hear the mainstream media say one thing, but like if you see Joe Biden falling up the stairs multiple times and you see him falling off of a parked bike, and then you hear the mainstream media repeat, well, Joe Biden is doing fine. Are these things that normal people do? How many normal people fall off of parked bikes? How many people fall up the stairs more than once a year? How many like who does that? That's not a sign of stable health. At the very least, they could get Joe Biden to start taking some ginkgo biloba. At the very least, get you some 20 milligram ginkgo pills. Drink a Red Bull before you know what I'm saying? Before you debate. Or a hot cup of coffee. Something. I don't even know if they're doing that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if they're going as far as to do all that. So now here says at the outset of the talks, Mr. Putin thanked Mr. Kim for his consistent and unwavering support for Russia over Ukraine in the light of the hegemonic imperialist policy of the United States and its satellites. Okay. Months before Putin's trip, Moscow used its veto power at the UN Security Council to disband a panel of UN experts that helped to enforce sanctions aimed at making it more difficult for North Korea to develop its nuclear arsenal. So as you guys can see, Russia is playing chess here. And for the most part, it's Russia's basically like, I'm going to use North Korea as one of my pieces on the chessboard in the geopolitical chess game. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Russia basically said, I see an opportunity here with North Korea. I'm going to bank in on this opportunity. I'm not mad at it. That's how you move with strategy. You know what I'm saying? That's how you move with strategy. Russia is thinking long term. They're gonna need people in UN so that they can win votes. They're gonna need to have some military allies. They're gonna need to try to spread their influence. They're making moves. Now, this is what I'm saying. These are what long-term moves look like. So as we're watching this and as we're reading this and as we're breaking this down, we got to ask ourselves, what kind of moves are we making that are parallel to things like this? And if we're not making those kind of moves, we have to ask the question, why? If that's what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? If that's what we're supposed to be doing. Russia has vetoed resolutions about cross-border access to Syria and sanctions extensions on officials in Mali, demonstrating its ability to play spoiler to the U.S. interests around the globe. And that's one of the things that the United States, that's one of the things that Russia is trying to do. Russia is trying to position itself as the blockade for America manipulating, the smaller countries, right? Even though Putin is doing the same thing, he's going to manipulate these smaller countries as well. but he's positioning himself as a blockade. Well, United States giving you a problem. I got you. Come roll with me. Come rock with me. America messing with you. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Come holler at your boy. I'm gonna set you up with this BRICS package. I'm gonna get you a couple of these missile defense systems. I got you. You don't like the United States, man? Come holler at me. That's Putin's game. You ain't getting your way in the UN. Bet. Watch this. I'm gonna holler at Xi Jinping. We gonna change things up for you. See, Putin is moving like on a international like businessman chess game type mentality. Yeah, facts. Shout out to Cameron. What's good with you, bro? I gotta agree. If y'all agree with Terrence, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Putin is chipping away at the soft power. Yeah. He's chipping away at the soft power methodically, slowly. He got as much time as he wants to. See, that's another thing. Putin has as much time as he wants to because, you know, they kind of have a different way of elected officials and how the government can intervene or not. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that here in the United States. You got a lot of bureaucracy. You got to move through in the United States. And although a democracy is good, it's probably the best situation, right? However, there are cases when a dictatorship for means of getting things done might be faster, might be more efficient. Putin doesn't need a vote. Putin doesn't need to put stuff through Congress. Do what they said. You know what I'm saying? That's all he got to do. What they said. I mean, when it comes to getting stuff done, it's pretty damn effective, pretty damn quick. Got a quicker turnaround with do what they said than taking stuff to House, taking stuff to Congress, taking stuff to the judicial court, right? Now, am I saying that system is better than what we have in the United States? No, I'm not saying that. Driving 100 miles an hour on the freeway will get you to point A, will get you from point A to point B faster as long as there's no events that take place in between. Is it the best way to go? No, it's against the law, probably increases the likelihood of an accident. So no, again, you have to like make these concessions because people are so crazy. You know what I'm saying? You have to make these concessions because people are so crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. We're actually going to talk about that in another stream a little bit later. Like I said, I got a lot of content that I want to try to get done. You know what I'm saying? I'm behind on stuff because I've been so I've been kind of gone for a minute. So I'm going to try to get up to speed and get all the stuff out that I want to get out. Now, you guys know, again, shout out to Cameron. You just made me remember this. Y'all know what to do, right? If you're not subscribed to the channel on Rumble, subscribe to the channel on Rumble. If you're not subscribed on Twitter, subscribe to the channel on Twitter at Base Reality 2. If you're not part of the Discord, join the Discord. If you're not part of Patreon, join Patreon. There's no guarantee that the YouTube live streams will stay up. So the only way people will be for sure able to watch replays is if you're a member. And the reason why is because they yellow dollar sign everything. And I'm not about to have yellow dollar sign videos circulating around on YouTube. And then 2 or 3 years later, they decide to deem one of them as hate speech or some type of misinformation that wasn't misinformation at the time. And then they take my channel down as a result. You can watch it on Rumble. It's free there for you to watch on Rumble. You can watch it on Twitter. It's free there for you to watch on Twitter. If you want to watch on YouTube, all you got to do is just pay 99 cents and become a member or join Patreon. But the videos are still there. So when you have all these people that go around saying, oh, you know, people took down the videos and they took down the videos. They took down the videos. My video, I'm telling you right now, if the video is yellow dollar signed, it's going to be on membership. It's either going to be on membership or unlisted. One of the two. It's not going to be visible public. It will be visible public on Twitter. It will be visible public on Rumble. It's not going to be visible public on YouTube. So just because the video is not there doesn't mean, oh, I ran and took a video down. I ran and took a video down. If you got me on Twitter, you got me on Rumble, you can find all the videos. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it's gonna be done from here on out. You know what I'm saying? No exceptions. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says throughout the visit, Mr. Putin characterized the two nations as kindred spirits, managing to preserve despite Western attempts to punish them and hold them down. All right. So they, you know, they sounding they sounded like you know what I'm saying? They up there sounding like you know what I'm saying? After holding closed-door negotiations and signing the new agreement, Mr. Putin went for a stroll with Mr. Kim outside, placed a wreath at a monument commemorating the Soviet liberation of Korea at the end of World War II, and gave a toast to their friendship at an evening banquet. Russian state news reported that Mr. Putin gifted the North Korean leader another Russian-made limousine during the trip. So, you know what I'm saying? Vladimir Putin is just, you know, he just papering Kim Jong-un up. He got him riding dirty in the Russian limos and all that. You know what I'm saying? Here you go. I got you. Here you go. I got you. You know what I'm saying? On Wednesday evening, the Russian president hugged Mr. Kim, promised to stay in touch, and flew to Vietnam, which has a long history of ties to Moscow, but has developed warm relations with the United States, now one of its top trading partners. Okay. North Korea's military has long been ridiculed for its backwards technologies and vast stockpile of outdated Soviet-era weaponry, such as artillery shells. Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you think that this might be one of the reasons why Kim Jong-un wants to update things? If you guys think that this is one of the reasons why Kim Jong-un wants to update things, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that this is one of the reasons why Kim Jong-un wants to update things, then give me a thumbs down. Now, it's amazing how they act like they have no idea what's going on, right? But then they'll turn around and say, well, you know, the military that they got there, you know, it's completely outdated. Okay, well, that's probably why they want to change things up. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why they want to get better missiles. That's probably why they want to get better weapons. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. We got 29 people watching and we got 38 likes. If we could get the likes to 50, that'd be wonderful. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Also, if y'all haven't shared, make sure y'all share. Y'all know what to do. Hit that Discord link in the chat. Join the Discord. We got shout out to the Discord gang, man. I gotta shout the Discord gang out. Because, man, we are about to go in on that lady that keeps saying that everything is misinformation. We about to go in on her. We about to go in on her. Alonda said, is that Russian limousine bugged? No, and not only is it bugged and wiretap, it probably got a built-in ignition bomb, too. Probably got a built-in ignition bomb, probably got remote radiation pellets. It probably got all kind of built-in shade. You know what I'm saying? But Mr. Putin's embrace of Pyongyang demonstrated how such old-fashioned munitions are among those that Russia most desperately needs in its war of attrition in Ukraine. How far can Mr. Putin take his support of North Korea will depend in large part on China, which has become a lifeline for Russia since his invasion of Ukraine. Beijing may be weary of the Russian leader developing too close of a relationship with Mr. Kim. Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you all think that Russia and China talked about Russia's plans with Beijing? Shout out to English Overstreet. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Carlton. What's good with you? You guys think that happened? There is no way, right? There's no way that Russia just did that behind China's back. But this is the purpose of the media. This is the purpose of the propaganda. We're going to say whatever we can, you know, to try to throw things off course or to try to sow seeds of confusion or discontent. That's the game, right? I don't understand why when it comes to us, you know, we don't do this particular strategy with people that we have issues with. Because me personally, I think that it would be very effective if we did that. Shout out to my man Carlton Wade. That's off code, bro. That's off code. Carlton said, I set my notification and forgot to click the live stream. You'll have another chance. Make sure you guys watch this stream all the way through to the end, and it'll take you to the next live stream window. All right. So make sure you guys do that. Hit that bell over there. Hit that like button, but don't be like Carlton and forget to click on the live stream when I go live next. Don't be like Carlton and forget to hit the and forget to watch the live stream when I go live next. Sit up there sounding like this.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Don't be like Carlton. Sit up there sounding like that. Oh man. So now here said China can be a limiting factor, and it will share with the Russians how far they are comfortable with the relationship deepening between Moscow and Pyongyang, said Alexander Gabuev, director of the Carnegie Russia Eurasian Center. Oh, what's Carnegie Russia Eurasian Center? What's a Eurasian? Stay away from that chili. Facts. Stay away from that chili. Carlton, get you. Stay away from that chili, bruh. Yeah, shout out to English Overstreet. Russia and China are both communist dictatorships. Facts. That's facts. So now here it says, but at the end of the day, I don't see that Beijing is so uncomfortable with that. Well, of course they wouldn't, because Beijing has a relationship with Russia. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that they talk. I just, it's hilarious how like they just never they never expect like just normal working business relationships. You know what I'm saying? They just they never expect, or they never try to report that anyone else would be competent at anything. No one else would be competent at anything. You know what I'm saying? Like make it make sense. You know what I mean? So now that first article that we read, right? We got to ask this question. Is that part of this agenda here? Is that part of this agenda here? There is a growing club led by Xi and Putin to counter the U.S. Okay? A growing club led by Xi and Putin to counter the U.S. is adding a staunchy pro-Russia member. Now, before we get into this, I want to ask you guys, who do you all think that this quote-unquote staunchy pro-Russia member is? Yeah, me either. Shout out to Cameron Jones. Cameron said, I always tell my dad I never met a black man with a Russian last name. Never heard of a Russian colony. Yeah. Yeah. Facts. You know what I'm saying? So who might this new member be? Now look at this. A club of Eurasian countries. Really? Eurasian? Now, it's funny. We were just talking about this particular concept of quote unquote Eurasian, right? We were just talking about this particular concept of Eurasian. What is Eurasian? I thought, that it's interesting that they're using that terminology. What is Eurasian? Was as many people are going around asking the silly question about what are black jobs, Me personally, if you ask me, I don't think that there's enough people going around asking the question, when we talk about Eurasian, who are we talking about? Right. If you guys agree with Gone for Milk, give me a thumbs up. If y'all agree with Hurricane IQ, give me a thumbs up. Right. Shout out to Karen. Karen said, Rob, you sound like when the Outsiders were talking about the mysterious third man that was Hollywood Hogan when they made the NWO. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's hilarious. Shout out to English Overstreet. English Overstreet says, how many Russians know Vladimir Pushkin is the black man who created the Russian language? I have no idea. I've never asked any Russians that question before. So I couldn't tell you how many of them know or how many of them don't know. You know what I'm saying? I've never asked them that. You know what I'm saying? But that's an interesting question, and I wonder how many of them would know that. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says a club of Eurasian countries spearheaded by China and Russia to advance their leaders' vision of an alternative world order is set to expand again this week, this time adding a staunch Russian ally that has openly supported Moscow's war on Ukraine. Now, again, when they say an alternative world order, what does that mean? An alternative? What's the current world order? What's the current world order? Right, exactly. See, these are the questions that people got to ask. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. An alternative world order? Right. Now, shout out to Carlton. Carlton says WS is the current world order. Yeah, I'd agree with that. How many people would agree with Carlton? Now, again, we also got to ask the question, okay, so if there does become an alternative world order where Russia and its allies are the dominant force, would the WS current world order still be the same? Would it still be this basically the same in terms of interactions for us? Now, let me ask you guys this. Who's talking about a black first world order? You know, what's crazy to me is that people don't even talk about that. Most conversations when it comes to world politics and geopolitics and, you know what I'm saying, interactions, they're all butter biscuit conversations. Every conversation, if it's not a conversation about how you're dominating the world, I don't know why everybody does all the butter biscuit shaming when everybody's just simply talking about butter biscuits. You know what I'm saying? You might be talking about some fluffy biscuits, somebody else talking about some drop biscuits, and the drop biscuits might seem a little bit more aggressive than the fluffy butter biscuits. You know what I'm saying? The Duncan Hines, you know what I'm saying? But you're talking about butter biscuits if you ain't talking about taking the world. Let's just keep it a buck. You're talking about sharing is caring. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. Why is there not any conversations or very few conversations about a quote unquote black first world order? Think about that. Think about that. You know, the Eurasian Alliance, right? The Eastern Bloc, you know, for the most part, there's a majority of Asian countries in that, right? Technically, you know, Russia is an Asian country. A large majority of Russia is in Asia, right? They should be talking about trying to, you know, have their influence. The Western European countries, They have their influence. They should be invested in maintaining their influence. Why are our conversations about this, at least from my observation, absent? Shout out to Terrence Jackson. Throw them sirens in the chat. Terrence said that's an off-code conversation. Facts. Facts. Shout out to Carlton Wade. Carlton Wade said Carlton Wade said B1 world order will take the world, will take brute force, and many folks ain't ready for that. Now here's my question. If we sit there, right? If we sit there and we talk about how violent, brutal, unfair, and dirty the other people are, then what kind of clean brute force will we be using to do anything? If we look at brute force that's used and say that this is inappropriate. Oh, I can't do that. Look at how them people move over there. They not like us. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they not like us. They're violent. Which means that you better get violent or you better get compliant. Right? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cameron. Cameron says they see us as irrelevant. Now, here goes my question. Are we irrelevant? Now, here's my thing, right? As long as somebody is alive and breathing, I don't think that they're completely irrelevant. However, there are degrees of relevancy and there are degrees of priority. I would be more concerned about like the United States as a whole than I would be about a particular group of people in the United States, especially a group of people that doesn't really have a large amount of resources and means to production, and they're not really showing initiative as far as like organizing. Yeah, facts. I agree 100% with Cameron Jones. Cameron Jones says you have to be willing to do what must be done. Yeah. Facts. I agree. If you guys agree with Cameron, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Cameron, give me a thumbs down. And from my observation and from what it seems like most people's messaging is, people are not willing to do what must be done. People are willing to work in what appears to be a safely rebellious confine. I'll work within a safely rebellious confine. I'll poke my chest out. I'll raise my voice. But that's all I'm gonna do though. I'm gonna look good doing it, but I'm not gonna throw no craps. I'm not gonna throw the dice. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that that's what it should be advertised as. That's what it should be advertised as. Stop fronting. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that as a strategy, but stop trying to sell it like it's something that it's not. You're not Buck. You're not built like that. It's not what you're trying to do. Stop selling it like you are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Gone for Milk. Gone for Milk says, do what must be done. Don't hesitate. Show no mercy. Darth Sidious. Yeah, facts. Facts. Do you think, let me ask you guys this. Do you all think that Vladimir Putin cares what the United States thinks of him? And, you know, as far as things that they think might be unethical or amoral or rule breaking, do you guys think that he cares? Do you think that it matters? I'm going to tell you guys something. It matters how people look to other people. That's why when you listen to what people say, a lot of what they say, a lot of what their talking points are based on appearances, acceptance. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. Yeah, shout out to Going for Milk. This ain't a good look. Shout out to the ugly people in the world, because the ugly people in the world adapt to never ever being a good look, and they still survive. Some people have been biologically permanently prisoned in a permanent not good look, and they still find a way to survive. And a lot of times they can find a way to survive, live a better life, and get a better looking partner than people who aren't ugly. But their entire life is a bad look. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hurricane. I tell you what, bro. Listen, this is what's so funny. Now, the most scary thing is somebody that knows how to actually, quote unquote, move like one of them folks, and you move to them folks like them folks. That'll put the fear in somebody. You know what I'm saying? That'll put the fear in somebody. But try telling that to people, though. Try telling that to people. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the expected admission of Belarus to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization at its annual Leader Summit in Astana, Kazakhstan, is another push by Beijing and Moscow to transform the grouping from a regional security bloc into a geopolitical counterweight to Western institutions led by the United States and its allies. So again, I want you guys to pay very close attention. I want to ask you guys this question. Are China and Russia adversaries with the same government that created issues for us? Is my question for you guys. That's my question. Shout out to Black Spider know what I'm talking about. Black Spider said them good ugly men is hard to find these days. They all taken. Listen. I feel it. Dude, listen. Those women who are adjustable 4 through 6s, they hard to find too, man. The female stock them went up. Them adjustable 4 to 6s, they've actually moved up on the food chain to now they're adjustable, you know what I'm saying, 8 through 10s. But back in the day, them 4 through 6s, clutch. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to English Overstreet. English Overstreet says that's because genetic deficiencies are the damage of not having complete melanated skin. That's a weakness, and whites know that. So now here's my question. How does that help our situation right now? Now, if that is a weakness and that's not something that we deal with, what does that say about us being at the mercy and behest under the control of people who are dealing with a quote unquote weakness? That's like saying I got outsmarted by this person with a half a brain, and I just keep going around saying, well, you got a half a brain, right? Like you got a half a brain, but you outsmarted me and I got a whole brain. So what's that saying about me? You know what I'm saying? And as far as if these people have been able to manipulate the entire world, utilize technology to supersede any type of perceived alleged genetic issue, How does that work? Like, if you broke your leg in 1990 and since then your leg has been healed and you've strengthened it and you've been working out, are you going to lead with, I broke my leg in 1990? Nah, because your leg is back to normal. You got crutches, you got a brace around it. You know what I'm saying? You might have got cybernetic parts. No, well, here, do they have to be extreme? If they actually can be normal. If we're the ones who are in a situation where we need to defend ourselves from people who are being oppressive and violent, and we're not effectively doing that, is that normal? I don't think that they're extreme. If the idea is to have power and they got power and maintain power, I don't think that that's extreme. I think that that's just them doing their job. I would say that we're lacking in our duties. Like, if you ever watched somebody get beat up in a fight, like in the UFC. So, like, if you watch Anderson Silva or you watch John Jones beat somebody up, somebody be like, yo, that was extreme. Okay, but he won though. I mean, that's probably why he won, because he was extreme. So you either have to be more extreme or you live through compliance. Like, my thing is, like, what are these things doing? If you're weak, then as an adjustment mechanism, you have to be extreme, right? Now, why is it that there's a lack of adjustment to the extreme nature that we're dealing with? If the idea is to survive and their extremeness has allowed them to supersede their genetic weaknesses, how is us repeating that and not adjusting to it a flex? How's that? I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand why people do that. Me personally, I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So now, shout out to English Overstreet. And English Overstreet says, remember, they were in the caves of Europe while we were enjoying life. I don't know if there's evidence of us enjoying life. I know there's evidence of us not in caves in Europe, but now they're not in caves of Europe, and now they're all over the world. And when is the last time black people enjoyed life? Like, these are my questions. So, like, this is the stuff that Neely Fuller Jr. was talking about like false glory. Like, if the Lakers have won 10 championships in a row, you know what I'm saying? They got a dynasty of winning 7 NBA championships in a row, and then they can't get above 500 for the next 30 seasons. Who cares if they won 10 championships in 1969? Like, I don't care about that. Does anybody care? Is that relevant? They haven't been over 500 in the last 30 years. So my question is, how does that help as a strategy? And this is a normal adjustment. So check this out, right? So if you didn't study for a test and you crammed, isn't cramming an adjustment for your lack of knowledge and lack of preparation? And if you pass the test as a result of cramming, hey, you passed the test as a result of cramming. And if you just so happen to get a better grade than somebody that studied the entire week for the test, then you just got a better grade. Right? So now my question is, where's the counter for any of this stuff? Where's the counter for any of this stuff? Like, check this out, right? Like, I could sit here and say, like, a gorilla is a primate. They don't have as much intelligence and cognition. You know what I'm saying? They're archaic. They don't have a language. But then if I go to the jungle, you know what I'm saying, and I get stomped out by a bunch of gorillas, who cares that I'm human? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? My humanity didn't help me. So my question is, what is the remedy of all of that for today? What is the remedy for all that today? I hear people always talk about like how dirty they are, right? Oh, they don't take baths. I mean, do you really got to take a bath when you own all of the water supply in the entire world? I mean, who cares if you take a bath or not? They own the water to make it where anybody else can or can't take a bath. You know what I'm saying? It's 40% water cuts in California. You never used a bar of soap. Guess who make all the money on the soap? Hell no, they're not using bars of soap because they're selling them to the people that pride themselves on washing their asses. You know what I'm saying? You don't wash your ass. Here's the trick bag. I own the soap company. You know what I'm saying? You don't take a shower. Guess what? You pay my electric. You pay my water company. You know what I'm saying? I could make it to where you don't wash your ass either. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying this to say, where's the strategic counters for any of these old school talking points that people have been reinforcing this entire time? You know what I'm saying? If I can't counter an argument, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna just say this. Okay, but how does that improve our situation? How do we get a win out of that? You know what I'm saying? Now, see, shout out to English Overstreet. English Overstreet says, when we speak the language that they understand, things will change, and that language is violence. Well, here's my question. I agree. I agree, right? Shout out to my man Izzy. Izzy always say that. You know what I'm saying? English, violence is their love language. You know what I'm saying? My man Izzy always say that. Now, that sounds good, but I don't hear anyone speaking the language. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, like, if you get a test and it's like, okay, this is a math test, and you know the answer to the problem, 1 + 1 is 2. All right, I got the answer, but I'm not gonna put it down on the test. I'm gonna just turn the test in. You still getting the answer wrong. You might know it, but it's not on the paper, and then you turned it in. You know what I'm saying? I think that another I don't even think that we necessarily, quote unquote, have to speak their language. Shout out to Val. What's good with it, Val? I don't understand the organizational, the lack of organization. I think that like there's a severe lack of organization that we deal with, and I think that that's a huge issue. Now, here goes the thing, right? Maybe violence is not our language. You know what I'm saying? But most people don't really do any type of root cause analysis on the type of problems that we face. Yeah, shout out to English Overstreet. By the way, happy to the chat. Happy Micaiah X Johnson Day. Today, his birthday was yesterday. Facts. Now, check this out. We've had this conversation before, right? And this is a good analogy, right? So you hear, like, with these gender conversations that, quote unquote, men created or built society, whatever, and women benefit from the construction or the social construction of society, and men bestow rights on women because men are more violent and can enforce the violence, right? Now, by that logic, and I'm not saying that logic is correct. I'm just saying this is logic that you hear. But if we use that same train of thought, then the people that enforce a world order would also be the most violent people in the world, right? So as much as you could pull out as many FBI statistics as you want to, as far as crime and gas station robberies, I can't genocide an entire country by using a nuclear missile. I can't do that. But your group of people can, because you're the most violent in the world, and you utilize that violence to enforce a world order. Now, does that make that wrong or right? I don't feel that makes that wrong or right. If people believe what people say they believe, if Malcolm X said by any means, then that by any means applies to anybody. So they doing what they got to do by any means. It is what it is. If you ain't adjusted, because it ain't no referees in the game of life. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no referees in the game of life. So why people like all the you're not playing fair and all that? There is no fair. There's no rules. This is literally the wild, wild west. There is no rules. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're not hiring us. So you know what I'm saying? They don't have to. Honestly, they're not supposed to. Yeah, I got shout out to Gone for Milk. I gotta agree. By any means necessary and fair don't go together. Exactly. 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 Shout out to Gone for Milk. Again, Gone for Milk said people don't believe what they say. And facts. And that, if you ask me, that gets proven every single day. Every day that gets proven. Every day that gets proven. And see, and this right here, this is why I do my streams the way that I do them, because we're not going to go outside of the realms of reality. We're going to deal with actual reality. Shout out to Carla. The Troublemint twins are in the house. Facts. We're going to deal with actual reality. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of the reasons why we talk about the geopolitics, right? Because the geopolitics are actually how countries and, you know, other groups of people are maneuvering around the same group of people that we have issues with here in the United States. But as you can see, when you look at geopolitical things, they're not doing a lot of the things that we're doing, but they're getting things done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would say we need that and a lot more. You know what I'm saying? But so here's my question, right? English Overstreet says we need to form our own cultural structure. Who heads our councils on education? We need black hospitals. Here's my question. How do you do that when if anybody tries to create a business, it's automatically a grift? It's automatically a scam. How do you do that when we got a whole generation of people who literally, like, honestly, right? If you ask me, if you pay attention to how a lot of people move, the WS brain damage is so bad that in many cases, black people practicing anti-blackness is more harmful than white people practicing anti-blackness, because it stifles our ability to build business networks, and it stifles our ability to maximize and raise our revenues. How many times have you guys heard somebody say, well, I'm gonna go on this side of town because they do it better over here, or I don't want to go over there where all them black people is. You're like, damn, bro, you black, what are you talking about? What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out to Cameron. It's difficult, but what you do is you keep working against it until you figure out a way. You don't just give up. Yeah, bro, shout out to Hurricane. Yeah, bro, people say that kind of stuff all the time. Well, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna drive 30 miles out the way to go. I'm gonna drive 30 miles out the way to give the McDonald's in the white neighborhood my money, because I don't want to deal with, you know what I'm saying, this McDonald's over here because a bunch of black people working there. Like, what? I know I've heard people say that, and I'm sitting there like, what? The person that's serving the food make it taste better, regardless where you eating McDonald's at, is slop. What you talking about? You think that if you buy some McDonald's from a white, you know what I'm saying, from a white neighborhood, it's gonna kill you less quick? Shout out to my man DJ. What's good with it, bro? It's gonna kill you less quick? Make it make sense. You still gonna get whatever type of disease it's gonna give you. It's still bad for you. It's still junk food. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people move like that. Or I ain't about to give him no money. You're not about to give him no money, but you'll give Elon Musk some money. Like, I don't understand. I see that stuff and I don't understand. I saw a video on my timeline on YouTube of a channel that I'm not subscribed to, you know what I'm saying, because I didn't know about this channel or whatever. I haven't watched the video yet. I'm gonna try to look at it. But somebody said that Timberland and Swiss Beats sold they sold verses to Elon Musk. Is that true? Did anybody hear about that? Is that a true story? If that's true, give me a thumbs up. If that's not true, give me a thumbs down. I don't know if that's a true story or not. I just seen a thumbnail that implied that. So I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Can somebody fact check that? Somebody fact check if Versus got sold to Elon Musk. They had a picture of Elon Musk on the thumbnail, and they said that Versus had got sold to a bigot. You know what I'm saying? Man, I remember everybody. I remember so many people was giving Elon Musk praise, bro. And I'm just like, man, y'all crazy. Shout out to the new subscriber. Jay-Z, man, like just you know what I'm saying? Like I don't get it, man. I'll never get it. I'll never understand. You know what I'm saying? I'll never understand. You know, make it make sense. So anyway, so now here it says Chinese leader Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin have arrived in Astana, the summit that begins Wednesday, in what will be their second meeting this year. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the leader of the world's largest democracy, is skipping the event, pointing to unease among some members about the direction the SCO is headed. Founded in 2001 by China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkestan, and Uzbekistan to combat terrorism and promote border security, the SCO has grown in recent years in line with Beijing and Moscow's shared ambition to counter what they see as quote-unquote U.S. hegemony and reshape the international system in their favor. Now, again, what are we doing in the United States to shape the current system to our favor? Shout out to Deneen Grant. Deneen Grant says we don't always come with professionalism and quality customer service that we should. Sad but true. I'm gonna go to a black neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go other places to get some basic stuff. You know what I'm saying? The only time I'll go out of my way to get some basic stuff is if I have like a friend or somebody that I know, or a business that I really rock with that's selling a product. But I'm gonna tell you, if you buying food in the black areas, they're gonna give you more food. If you go to a white area, like they got this stuff at Dunkin' Donuts called snack and bacon, right? If you buy a little bag of snack and bacon at Dunkin' Donuts in a white area, you only gonna get like 5 strips of bacon. If you go to a black area, or you just in a metropolitan area in a city, and you buy a bag of snack and bacon, they're gonna give you, it's gonna be like at least 10 strips in there. Everybody ain't on a damn diet. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not on a diet. So, you know, as far as like, you know, I wouldn't see, like, to me, the customer experience is what delivers the professionalism, right? You know what I'm saying? My professional experience is if you gave me give me a good portion of food, make that shit right. So, you know, just because somebody, hi, how you doing? You know, they're like, welcome to Dunkin' Donuts. And then you give me 5 little pieces of bacon, man. Get this little bullshit out of here. I done paid $2.99 for this little bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You go to the hood, they stuff the bag. You're like, okay, yeah, that's what's good. You know what I'm saying? That's what's good. Yeah, I'm not coming there for no tofu. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Deneen. Deneen said, I'm talking about black-owned restaurants. I've had to walk out because the food was so awful. See, I got a homeboy that owns a restaurant, and he's OCD about his professionalism to the point where he cooks. Like, he opens the restaurant and he closes the restaurant, and he cooks the entire time. And his family, you know, his family is like the staff at the restaurant. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, as few black, like there's very few black businesses, right? I can tell you all of the bad experiences that I've had at white-owned businesses, right? But I can't really recount like the amount of bad service that I've had at black businesses. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really mess with Chinese food, for one, because it's nasty. And for two, the people, like, I don't care where you are. Service at Chinese food restaurants is arrogant and ignorant, and I'm not dealing with it. I'm coming to the restaurant to give you money, and you act like you don't have no sense. I don't know where the hell you think that you are. You know what I'm saying? But I'll go back there and kidnap all them cats by the dumpster so you don't have meat for a week messing with me. You know what I'm saying? Those people are ignorant at their restaurants. And I'm not dealing with that. I think that Chinese food restaurants have the absolute worst service. And when it's a woman at the counter, the worst. Ignorant. When I tell you, like, ignorant, you're ignorant. You know what I'm saying? I'll turn right around and walk right out of a Chinese food restaurant. Don't start, as soon as I walk into the store, don't start yelling at me from the counter and I just walked in about what I want. I haven't even seen a menu. You start acting ignorant like that, I'm gone. I'm right out the restaurant, and I'm writing the worst Yelp review. I'm gonna stand right outside your door and shit on your restaurant on Yelp and then leave. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DJ. Ignorant. And I'm not talking about black people. You know what I'm saying? When I say ignorant. Shout out to my man Ron. What's good with it, bro? But then at the same time, you know, there's some Chinese food restaurants that got good service. It's not all of them, but the ignorant ones, man, I ain't tolerating that. I ain't tolerating it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, like we got some Asian establishments where I live at. A lot of the people are cool. A lot of the people are cool. A lot of the people is down with like the neighborhood, and a lot of the people like employ people from the neighborhood too. It's some cool people around here. But then you get them like, and they kind of different too. Like it's real weird. You know what I'm saying? You just got to look at people on an individual basis. But overall, like with that ignorant stuff, man, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. And on top of it, I know you speak English better than you do, and you just acting a fool just to act a fool. Man, good luck. Bro, you ain't never lied. Facts. 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 Talking about hurry up and buy. I'm about to hurry up and Yelp. I'm about to hurry up and Yelp. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about hurry up and buy. You lucky I'm here. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Shit. And like somebody need to say something, man. Like they be wilding, man. They be wilding a lot of times. Yeah, they'll mess your food up. They'll mess your food up. That's another listen. Look, let me tell you, I've almost snatched some people up over leaving my food in a crazy place. Why you leave it? I'll chase you outside. Why you leave this right here? Are you crazy? I've actually asked one of those Uber Eats drivers, you know what I'm saying, them people that deliver the food. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Are you out your mind? Why did you leave my food next to the garbage can? Oh, I just put it right there. I just put it right there and take the picture. Man, if you ever deliver food around here ever again, I don't care who you deliver it to. Don't you ever leave anybody's food by the garbage can. Raccoons will be all outside trying to get into your stuff. Rats will be out there trying to get into your stuff. Bugs could crawl into it. Don't ever leave the food by the garbage can again. I don't be trying to hear none of that. I don't be trying to hear none of that babbling back talk either. I just put it right, man. Shut up, man. Don't leave the food right there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to hear none of that babble, man. You shut up when I'm talking to you and don't leave that damn food right there again. You know what I'm saying? You want to try to justify to me about why you thought it made sense to leave some fresh food next to a garbage can. Man, go on somewhere. Go on somewhere. Get in your car and drive away. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. And the thing is, and if you get an American, like, as much as people talk about like American workers and stuff like that, American workers might like work different than the immigrant workers, but like American workers won't, in most cases, I don't want to say in all cases, but in most cases, they're not gonna do something like that. Like they're not gonna set food on top of a trash can, yeah, or leave your food on the ground. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no Wuhan wet market. The hell you leave this shit on the ground for? I can't tell you how many times I've told, man, I will look at my food where my food is at and not pick it up and look at the driver and be like, man, go on somewhere before I do something to you, man. Go on. Go. Go away. Go away. Get out of my face. For real. Just go get in the car. Go. And you probably didn't grab no fork. Get away before I open up this bag and see that it ain't no damn fork in here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not mad at it, Miss Nisi. I'm not mad at it. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Do you know? Don't even get me started. I gotta find this video on YouTube, and I'll do a video about it. They be using that oil, not just the oil from the sewer and stuff like that, but they use the oil from jet planes too, and they remanufacture it into cooking oil. You know what I'm saying? They remanufacture it into cooking oil. Real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you guys haven't smashed that like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. Also, please share the stream to your social media. And if you're not part of the Discord, take a moment, hit that link that's pinned in the chat, and join the Discord. Oh, yeah. Yeah, once I find that video, I'm gonna definitely do I'm gonna do a reaction to it. We may as well, or at least talk about it real quick, like in a quick segment. Because yeah, when I saw that, I was like, man, that's ridiculous. And this was like a long time ago too that they was doing this, using airplane engine oil and refining it into like cooking oil to use for food preparation. You're nasty. You're nasty. You xenophobic. I'm xenophobic. You're nasty. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't mad at it, Deneen. Shout out to Deneen. Deneen said, I don't trust anybody bringing me my food. I will get it myself. You know what I always do? Listen, I'm going to tell y'all a secret, too. If you ever order food, if you ever order anything extra, always get your extra that you order separate. When I order, they be mad at me at the Chinese food place. If I order shrimp fried rice, I always order it with extra shrimp when I do order it. And I tell them I want the shrimp in a separate container. And we put the shrimp in there, but no, I don't want it. If you give me a box of shrimp fried rice and you don't have that shrimp in a separate container, I'm not paying for my food. Same way if I get some spaghetti or some lasagna or something like that. If I get extra meatballs, I want the meatballs separate. The extra meatballs that I ordered separate. Put them separate. Because if you ever order any extra and you don't tell them to put it separate, they will always lie and say that they gave you extra. I want mine separated. If I order extra shrimp, put the extra shrimp in the extra container. If I order extra chicken, put the extra chicken in the extra container. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to hear it. I ain't trying to hear it. I remember one time I had ordered some Chinese food. It was some shrimp fried rice. And they had 4 shrimp at the top of the box. And it was a box of rice. I wanted to take that box and go back in there and throw it at that lady's face that was at the cash register. But I didn't. What did you give me this box of hard-ass rice for with 5 shrimp on top? Let me do us both a favor and not come back here anymore. I'm going to do us both a favor, and I'm going to drive right past this place every time I see it. Because if you ever give me a box, after I done ordered a box of shrimp fried rice, if you give me a box of hard rice with 5 shrimps on the top, I can't guarantee you that the situation going to end good. I can't do it. I can't promise that to you. So I'm just going to avoid it. Like DMX said, see it, try to avoid it, but it comes. That's how it's going in the slums over crumbs. But anyway, all right. So in 2017, the bloc underwent its first expansion to welcome India and Pakistan. After adding Belarus, it will boast 10 members, all right, representing more than 40% of the world's population and roughly a quarter of the global economy. It also has 2 observer states, Afghanistan and Mongolia, and more than a dozen dialogue partners from Myanmar to Turkey and the Arab states. All right. So how many people have ever heard of the SCO? If you guys have ever heard of the SCO, give me a thumbs up. If you guys have not heard of the SCO, then give me a thumbs down. All right. The SCO's expansion comes after another bloc led by China and Russia, the BRICS group of major economies, more than doubled its membership and significantly extended its global reach last year. Why now again, let me ask you guys this. Why are so many countries attracted to and moving in the direction of BRICS? Shout out to Mike Mellis John. What's good with it, bro? All these countries, man, they all got these BRICS ambitions. Why are they all so interested in BRICS? As the SCO grows in its international visibility and economic weight, it has also broadened its geopolitical ambitions. Now, again, I always got to ask this question because this is what we're doing out here. We need, if you ask me, to broaden our geopolitical ambitions. What are our geopolitical ambitions? Y'all know my geopolitical ambition. Been saying it since day one. World domination. That is a geopolitical ambition. You know what I'm saying? But aside from that, what are our geopolitical ambitions? Now, here goes my thing, right? People might say, well, you know, we don't really have no geopolitical ambitions, or, you know, we don't accomplish anything geopolitically. Here's how I would look at that. In most cases, when people start a business, they have a business plan, right? Like they'll come up with a business plan. I don't really know if we can fairly say if we've had business plans or not for geopolitical ambitions. I don't know if we can say that we've ever had geopolitical ambitions and goals laid out. You know what I'm saying? So to me, the first stage that people would have to do is people would need to lay out what geopolitical goals and ambitions look like for us. And my thing is that the way that things are right now, it would be an easy transition for us to be able to have geopolitical ambitions, because we have a lot of intellectual property, right? We have a lot of uniqueness that has done well being globally exported. The problem is that people don't own these businesses. They don't do business the right way. And a lot of times the people that create these things are not the brightest. And so they get taken advantage of by fancy companies and lawyers. And it's the fancy companies and lawyers that end up making all the money, more so than the person that originated the intellectual property. However, the property has shown to be marketable. So it would be the business practices that would have to change. Or it would be the business practice that would have to be, I wouldn't even say change. It would be the business practices that would have to become existent. You know what I'm saying? Stop letting other people do the business for you and do the business yourself. You know what I'm saying? Russia's geopolitical ambition is probably to be able to manage its own affairs and to be able to rival, compete with, and supersede American influence globally. That would probably be one of Russia's goals. I don't know if that is or not, but it seems like those are the moves that they're making to be able to do. You know what I'm saying? So now here says the expected admission of Belarus, which borders the European Union, really highlights how the SCO's mission has changed in the last few years, said Eva Stewart, an expert on China's foreign policy at Mercator Institute for China Studies in Berlin. Unlike Iran, you don't really get much like economic or security cooperation out of Belarus joining. And that's why I argue it's more of a geopolitical move. So it's Belarus that's joining. With Russia deep in the third year of its grinding war against Ukraine, the SCO has become a crucial diplomatic avenue for Putin, as well as a platform to showcase he's not isolated internationally. And as China's relations with the U.S. have plummeted, Beijing is now less concerned about the SCO being branded an anti-Western organization, a perception that has only deepened following Iran's admission. Seward said. All right. And now again, there's some people, right? There's some countries in the world that might actually see, quote unquote, being quote unquote anti-West as an actual attraction of membership. They might actually see that as attractive, like, oh, I don't want to deal with the United States anyway. What's going on over here? You know what I'm saying? They want the SCO to be perceived as a major bloc that cannot be ignored anymore, she said. With all these countries joining, China and Russia want to show that they both have a lot of supporters for their worldview. So again, this is almost like global subscriber supremacy. Almost. They want to show that they have a lot of people supporting them. They want to show that they got a lot of people on their side. They want to show like, hey, listen, when we talk, people listen. Not only when we talk do people listen, when we talk, people shut up, they listen, and then they also talk about what we're talking about. Let me ask you guys this question. When Al Sharpton talks, who shuts up and listens? When Al Sharpton talks, who shuts up and listens? Besides making fun of Al Sharpton, when Al Sharpton talks, who's talking about what he's talking about? You know what I'm saying? Who's talking about what he's talking about? Somebody make it make sense. And in that shared worldview, there is no place for the U.S. in Eurasia. Uh-oh. Now, see, that's the difference. See, that's the difference between a lot of people, a lot of us, and these people over here. When it comes to a lot of us, there's a lot of room in people's hearts for America. There's a lot of room in people's hearts for forgiveness and concession. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to. These people right here, they're not trying to rate it. Nah, we ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? In a meeting with his senior foreign ministry officials last month, Putin laid out a future vision for a new system of bilateral and multilateral guarantees of collective security in Eurasia. Now, what does that mean? Let me ask you guys that. What does that mean? With the help of existing organizations like the SCO and a long-term goal to gradually phase out the military presence of external powers in the Eurasia region. Uh-oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? That means United States, Western powers, y'all got to go. Y'all got to go. We got this over here. There's no need for you to be here. We'll take care of this. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Thomas Wilson. Make sure y'all show Thomas Wilson some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Thomas Wilson being the 10th stream sponsor. Definitely appreciate it.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Green, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Now look at this, because Thomas put some good information into the chat. All right. Thomas put some good information into the chat. Shout out to Alpha Male Pimp Network. What's good with it, bro? from my understanding, as of 2 days ago, BRICS is now in control of 33% of the world's GDP, and the Western world only has 25. So they winning. Yeah, facts. Huge moves. Huge move. That's a lot. Now imagine having that kind of financial influence and the geopolitical influence that they're building in the UN. It's going to make it where there's going to be a point where it's going to be extremely hard to say no to China and Russia. Would you guys agree? It's going to be extremely hard to say no to China and Russia, because China and Russia are going to have positioned themselves to where they have the ability to make your life kind of difficult. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how the United States will react to that. One, I think that the United States actually sees that coming, and that could be one of the reasons why they decided to get that draft back going. That could be why they decided to get that draft back going. You know what I'm saying? During my recent visit to China, President Xi Jinping and I discussed this issue. It was noted that the Russian proposal is not contradictory, but rather complements and aligns with the basic principles of the Chinese Global Security Initiative, said Putin, who visited Beijing in May. That big picture version of an alternate future is going to be the headline message for China and Russia coming out of the SCO summit, said Bill Gates, a senior fellow for the Bureau of Asian Research. And this is Bates Gill. I'm sorry. This guy's name is Bates Gill. See, that's the funny brain. That's the games that your brain plays. I put the G in front of the A and the B in front of the I and rearranged the word completely. I said Bill Gates. This is Bates Gill. That's why you got to be careful with how your brain arranges stuff, man. Your brain will automatically do stuff like that. And people know that. And that's one of the things that is done with propaganda. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, but the Belarus membership also creates a big question mark that will hang over the organization, Gill said. It creates all sorts of problems and new questions about the reputation, legitimacy, and mandate of the organization, given the nature of the Belarus regime and its support for Russia's flagrant violation of international law and invasion of Ukraine, he said. Clearly, the SCO can tolerate authoritarian regimes, but for the mandate of the organization, it further diversifies and dilutes its original focus, which was to be on Central Asia. The bloc's expansion hasn't come without frictions, notably with the admissions of bitter rivals India and Pakistan, while tensions between Beijing and New Delhi have also flared in recent years following deadly clashes on their disputed Himalayan border. I didn't know they had a Himalayan border. I didn't know they had a Himalayan border. You know what I'm saying? That's hilarious. Hold on. You already know what we got to do for that. Hold on, man. Where are my drops at?
I'm an old Mac from way back. One of the original players from the Himalaya.
Oh, man. Yeah, they've been fighting on that border for years. It's the battle of the players, bro. It's the battle of the players.
I'm an old Mac from way back. One of the original players
from the Himalaya.
Oh man. Shout out to Alpha Male Pimp Network. Alpha Male Pimp Network says, correct me if I'm wrong, but ain't BRICS nations Belarus, Russian, Iran, China, Korea, and Syria? I think the S is South Africa. But don't quote me. Don't quote me. And I think honestly, I think that's the original acronym for BRICS. But there's so many nations in BRICS now. So now here it says the group's increasingly anti-Western orientation following its embrace of Iran and now Belarus has also fueled unease among members that want to keep good relations with the West, including the former Soviet states in Central Asia. In some respects, it puts the Central Asian states in a very awkward position, Gill said. They are pursuing what they like to call multi-trajectory diplomacy. They don't want to be committed to only dealing with one power like China or Russia. Gill, who visited Central Asia in April and May, said there was an ambivalence in regional capitals about the future of the SCO. India, too, appeared to be losing interest. Last year, it hosted the summit virtually, a muted arrangement that allowed Modi to avoid the optics of welcoming Putin and Xi to New Delhi as it sought closer ties with the U.S. This year, fresh from his third consecutive term inauguration, the Indian leader is skipping the summit in Astana, despite Russian state media reports that he will visit the Kremlin next week. This tells us that he does not see the SCO as the most effective channel through which to pursue Indian interests in this part of the world, Gill said. Even China, the main driver behind the SCO's expansion, is seeking a more direct way to engage with Central Asia without Russia's involvement. So again, here we got the media doing what the media does. All right, we're going to try to chip away at the integrity of the organization. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try to chip away at the integrity of the organization. Shout out to Black Freethinker. Make sure y'all throw some like enforcers in the chat for Black Freethinker enforcing the likes. Definitely appreciate it, bro. Okay. Last year, 5 leaders from the region received a lavish welcome at the inaugural China Central Asia Summit in the Chinese city of Xi'an, the starting point of the ancient Silk Road trade route that linked imperial China with civilizations to its west over a millennium ago. I wonder how they feel about that now. Was that a good move or was that a bad move? Let me add. Oh, man. You know how a lot of people be like, integration messed us up. You think that in China, they be like, man, the Silk Road messed us up. You think they do that? I don't know. I'm just curious. Let me know what y'all think. You know what I'm saying? They be sitting around, you know what I'm saying, eating with chopsticks, talking about, you know what I'm saying, under communism, you know what I'm saying, the Asian family was together. I wonder if they be saying that. You know what I'm saying? Under communism, you know what I'm saying, the Asian families was married. You think they be saying that? I'm just curious, man. Let me know. In March, a permanent secretariat for the China Central Asia mechanism was established in the same city. And while Russia and China aspire to present the SCO as a counterweight to U.S.-led institutions, it remains a much weaker and less cohesive bloc compared with the likes of NATO, the European Union, or the Group of 7 nations. Now, let me ask you guys this. Is this a question? Is this a claim, an assertion that we could take CNN at its word for, or is this something that we should do further research on? Shout out to DJ. DJ got what I was saying. what I'm saying? Oh man. Given the expansion of membership with India, Pakistan, Iran, and Belarus, the organization will be even less like an alliance or committed common grouping and more like a strategic vision type of organization, representative of Eurasian identity. So again, we got that representative of a Eurasian identity. All right. So now I want you guys to pay very close attention. It's okay for these people here to do that, what they call quote unquote identity politics. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Why is it that people attempt, right? It don't work anymore, but they attempt to jump all over us and say, you're doing identity politics. Anytime anybody says, Rob, you're doing identity politics, I say, I know. I'm doing identity politics exactly the same way that you are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's because I have an identity, and I'm absolutely doing identity politics. Anytime anybody says you're doing identity politics, that's a shaming tactic. I don't care. Yeah, of course I'm doing identity politics. I have an identity. Literally everybody has an identity. So when people tell you not to do identity politics, what they're telling you to do is shed your identity for their comfort. Yeah, I got to agree with Black Free Thinker. If you guys agree with Black Free Thinker, Eurasian identity is the new WS. Give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Hurricane. Yeah, it's more SBE. Facts. I thought that South Africa was already a part of BRICS. They not a part of BRICS? Shout out to Alpha Pimp Network. Alpha Pimp Network said the S in BRICS will be South Africa if Julius Malema gets elected, because he said out of his own mouth that he will join BRICS if elected. Man, they're going to come out with a remix of Kill the Boers, and everybody going to be flipping out. That Kill the Boers remix going to be crazy. White people going to be mad as hell. He going to have Vladimir Putin on the track. Oh, man. Kill the Boers featuring BRICS and Vladimir Putin is crazy. That's going to be a crazy mixtape. That's going to be a crazy mixtape. Vladimir Putin gonna have a bottle of vodka, you know what I'm saying? And Malema gonna have his Kango hat to the back. Kill the boss, you know what I'm saying? But white Twitter gonna go crazy. Elon Musk is gonna allow 3 million N-words that day. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. After the summit in Astana, China is due to take up the rotating presidency of the SCO for a year. Seward, the expert at MIRIX, said Beijing would work to find more common ground among member states. For China, it's important that the SCO doesn't fail, that it is perceived as successful. I think they're also aware of all the difficulties that have come with all of these different expansions, she said. If it keeps on expanding, Russia and China keep on pushing to expand, then I think its regional relevance will really just diminish. Now, they've been using that kind of language, saying that, quote unquote, things will just diminish for a long time when it comes to China and Russia. And what's interesting about that is, as much as they keep saying that things will diminish, when it comes to China and Russia, things just seem to continue to get bigger. They seem to just continue to keep getting more influence. You know what I'm saying? There's not really anything disappearing. Now, shout out to y'all, because I had asked this question earlier when there was less people in the chat, and now we got some more people in the chat. So I want to kind of ask this question now and try to tie things together. What do you think the Eastern Bloc looks like in another 4 years of Biden versus another 4 years of Trump? That's my question. What do you guys think? What do you guys think that the East looks like in another 4 years with Biden versus another 4 years with Trump? China's Xi urges regional leaders to resist external interference as security bloc grows to counter the United States. Is there ever going to be a physical confrontation between any of these countries and the Western countries? Shout out to Lehman Lucas. What's good with it, bro? Yeah, facts. Shout out to Alpha Male Pimp Network. Putin and Xi have both voiced support for Julius Malema. Yeah, they have. Facts. Shout out to DJ and shout out to Cameron. I actually agree with both of these. DJ says, I don't think so. And I actually agree with that. It doesn't seem highly likely. However, I also agree with Cameron because even though it doesn't seem likely to me, the possibility always exists. And you can't rule that out. You know what I'm saying? You can't rule that out. So now here says Chinese leader Xi Jinping on Thursday urged regional leaders to resist external interference at a gathering of Eurasian security bloc, touted by Beijing and Moscow as a counterbalance to Western power. Okay. Addressing the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's annual leaders summit in Kazakhstan, Xi called on its members to consolidate the power of unity in the face of real challenge of interference and division. What's that mean? Consolidate the power of unity. What does that mean? What's that mean, y'all? What's that mean? Oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah, we're gonna actually have to talk about that. Yeah, facts. If you guys agree with what Black Free Thinker said, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with what Black Free Thinker said, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, we definitely gonna have to start going back into those topics. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all are part of the Discord or not, but like I said, I'm about to get back on my grind. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be hitting all those topics. We're gonna be hitting all those topics. You know what I'm saying? Because we definitely got to start looking at that stuff. We should work now. Look at this. We should work together to resist external interference. Who's the external interference? When they talk about external interference, who are they alluding to? Who are they talking about? And firmly grasp our own future. Look at it. Whoa. And firmly grasp our own future and destiny, as well as regional peace and development in our own hands. Xi was quoted saying as Chinese state broadcaster CCTV. Now, there's nothing more scary to the people that already have the majority of the world power than people start talking about controlling their own destiny. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. That's something that's really scary to the quote unquote people that are quote unquote the powers to be. When people start talking about controlling their own destiny. And this is what we be talking about here. Controlling, maintaining our own destiny. And whatever we have to control or whatever we have to take possession of or whatever, by any means, whatever we have to do to be able to do that. If I got to control you to be able to control my own destiny, then that's just what I'm about to have to do. Oh, okay. Thomas said if you go to the website, they have South Africa as S. Yeah, I always thought that. I always thought that it was. You know what I'm saying? I always thought that it was. Shout out to my man DSB. Yo, make sure y'all show DSB some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for DSB for standing on business.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to DSB. Yo, the membership definitely helps. Y'all already know, like I said, you know, the streams, if they get yellow $sign, they automatically go on members only. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to watch the replays guaranteed on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, become a member. The membership is only 99 cents. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It's only 99 cents. So consider becoming a member. It definitely helps. It also definitely helps me. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't afford that, make sure that you subscribed on Twitter at Base Reality 2, or make sure that you are either on the Discord or part of the Patreon. All right. And also shout out to my man DSB for standing on business for 8 months. Definitely appreciate it. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for DSB for standing on business for 8 months.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Definitely appreciate it, bro. Definitely appreciate it. All right, so now here it says the 10-member. So this is another block. All right, the SCO and BRICS are different. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization. These are two different things. Okay, the 10-member block must handle international differences with peace, seek common ground, and resolve difficulties in cooperation. Z added. Founded in 2001 by China, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan to combat terrorism and promote border security, the SCO has grown in recent years as Beijing and Moscow drive a transformation of the bloc to form a regional security club with a focus on Central Asia to a geopolitical counterweight to Western institutions led by the United States and allies. All right. Now, this is part of the article that we just read right here. All right. On Thursday, Belarus, a staunch Russian ally that helped Moscow launch its 2022 invasion of Ukraine, became the latest authoritarian state to join the SCO after Iran became a full member last year. The bloc underwent its first expansion in 2017 to welcome India and Pakistan. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was notably absent from this year's event, further adding to the perception of the SCO's anti-Western orientation. All right. So now basically what they did here with this article is that they just kind of patched some things together and rewrote the other article that we just read. All right. Oh, yo, shout out to I didn't even see that, bro. Shout out to my man DSB. Make sure y'all show DSB some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for my man DSB for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Green, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Get the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I'm rich, biatch.
And let me see. Shout out to my man Black Free Thinker. Make sure y'all show Black Free Thinker some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for my man Black Free Thinker standing on business for 10 months.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing
And shout out to my man, Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker said, yes, geopolitics. What attracted me to BLR? Yo, I appreciate it, bro. Make sure y'all show Black Free Thinker some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for my man, Black Free Thinker, for showing some love.
Silence. Silence. I ain't got no money, pie. I can't eat. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
I forgot about that one. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I can't eat. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
Oh, man. Shout out to my man, Lewis Knowles. What's good with it, bro? Yeah, man. So that's that. So that's the new Power Club. That right there is what the new Gentleman's Power Club looks like. You know what I'm saying? Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin are out here making moves. Now, look, y'all see all this stuff that we just talked about? This ain't even one of them crazy live streams where I be long, you know what I'm saying, live for forever. You know what I'm saying? We only been live for about, 2 hours, about 3 hours, right? So all this stuff that we just talked about right now, let me ask y'all this. During that presidential debate, out of everything that we just talked about right now, what came up out of what we just talked about right now in the presidential debate? Did Joe Biden and Donald Trump have conversations with each other about what we just talked about right here? Now, why am I asking that? I'm asking that because what we talked about right here has very serious implications to America, the future of America, America's economy, the future of America's economy, and our global influence, right? These are things, in addition to the issues that we would like to see them talk about, these are things that they should have been talking about. Shout out to my man, Hurricane IQ, and they talked about none of this during the debate. Shout out to my man, Tarek. What's good with it, bro? If you ask me, during the next debate, in addition to the issues that we need discussed, this is something that also needs to be discussed, because I would like to see each president's plan on how they plan to deal with these situations. The Eastern Bloc's growing influence, the Western Bloc's decaying influence. Shout out to my man Tarek. Tarek said we got 51 likes today. That's what's good. If y'all haven't smashed that like button yet, take a moment, smash that like button. If y'all haven't hit that bell yet, take a moment, hit that bell. We need more people in the Discord. Make sure y'all hit the Discord. We need more people in the TCU. Join the Discord so y'all can become a TCU member. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to talk about that. And like I said, we're about to be back heavy on these particular topics. You know what I'm saying? I got some information together and I'm going to try to get it all out there. So we're going to be asking these questions, and we got to ask these questions going forward. Because if you ask me, if these questions are not answered or brought up or discussed in the debate, then my question is, how can we guarantee that any president that wants any kind of support will be appropriately equipped to deal with these situations as they come? You know what I'm saying? How do we know? That's the question, all right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I need you guys to do me a favor. Take a moment, all right? Don't go nowhere. Let me shout out the 15 stream sponsors that we have. I appreciate you guys greatly. Watch the video all the way through to the end after the outro music. Hit the like button and hit the bell on the stream window for the next stream. All right. That definitely helps move things in the algorithm. All right. And y'all know, if this one gets yellow $, it'll be on members only. or on Rumble or on Twitter. All right. So if you're not on Twitter or Rumble, go ahead and follow me on Twitter or Rumble. If you don't have either of those, if you're not a member and you're looking for the replay, it's not going to be there. Okay. Just so everybody clear. That's how we doing things moving forward. Just because I'm not really trying to have a lot of content up so that there's less likelihood of YouTube making an adverse move on my channel. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody, man. Throw them flames in the chat for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Miss Nisi. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. Shout out to my man AB. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Shout out to Gone for Milk. Shout out to my man AB again. Shout out to Black Spider. Definitely appreciate you, Black Spider. Shout out to Carla. Appreciate you, Carla. Shout out to my man Lloyd Sky 9. Appreciate it, bro. Shout out to Thomas. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Shout out to DSB. Shout out to DSB again. Shout out to DSB again. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to my man Kid Gravity. We got to show Kid Gravity some love. 13 months of membership. Standing on business.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
And shout out to Val out here killing it. Make sure y'all throw some napalm in the chat. Val being a member for 27 months. That's what I'm talking about, man. Shout out to Val. Make sure y'all show Val some love for standing on business.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
Up in the life. Yeah, I'm really talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour. Got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on my knee. That's on Kiwi. That's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me. Come and see me. I been dodging all that fake. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
These watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Hold up.